In this video, I'll show you several different ways that you can adjust the dimmer and brightness on your Pioneer AVH-110BT. So from any source, and I'm on the AM/FM radio source right now, I want to touch the gears up here, and I want to select the toolbox, and under the toolbox I want to scroll down a little until I find the dimmer settings. There's the dimmer settings. We'll select that. Now there are several different ways that you can switch the dimmer on and off, and that's the dimmer trigger. Right now you can see it's set to manual, and we can open this window. So we have three different ways that we can switch the dimmer on or off: auto, manual, or by time. Let's start with the manual setting. We'll go back up, and here's the manual setting right here, day and night. You can see that it's set to day right now. When it becomes in the evening or the nighttime, you want to switch the dimmer on. You can touch it right there, and that will dim the in-dash receiver. Now that you can see the brightness of the receiver drop there. When it's daytime again, you can go in here and hit that again, and that will switch it back on to the daytime setting. You can see the receiver come back up to its full brightness. This is a great way to use the favorites menu. If I put a star beside that there, you can see it's now in the favorites menu as my day and night setting. Makes it very quick and easy to get to switch that dimmer on and off if you choose to use the manual setting. For me, I like to use one of the other settings though. So let's go back to dimmer here. And we'll open that trigger, and the first thing we see is auto. And auto means that you can automatically have the system dim the in-dash receiver when you switch the headlights on the vehicle. So when the headlights switch on, the in-dash receiver can automatically dim. When the headlights switch off, the in-dash receiver can automatically come up to its brightness. But please note that this requires proper installation of the in-dash receiver, and on the back of the in-dash receiver there's the orange wire with the white stripe. That's the dimmer wire. It has to be properly installed and connected to your vehicle in order to get the auto setting to work. If you haven't done that installation, or someone else did that for you and auto is not working, I recommend to use the timer setting. And so let's check that out. So again, we want to go to the gears, the toolbox, and come down to the dimmer here. And under the dimmer trigger, let's choose time. And we'll go back up. And I want to go to my dimmer duration because that's the time that it's on, but you can see that that is grayed out, and so we need to engage the parking brake of the vehicle. When I engage the parking brake, there's dimmer duration, and we can select that. Now this says, what time does the dimmer come on in the evening? Right now it's set to 6 p.m. And what time does the dimmer switch off in the morning, the next morning at 6 a.m.? So right now we're on the dimmer on time. What time does it come on? And I'm going to make that 6:30 p.m. There's 6:30 p.m. And what time does it switch off? Where I live right now, the sun comes up at around 7:30 p.m. So I'm going to make that a little bit later here. We'll make it switch off at 7:30 a.m. So the dimmer will be on from 6:30 p.m. in the evening to 7:30 a.m. the next morning. And you can make adjustments to that as often as you like. So we will hit the X there to get out of the dimmer settings. Now there's one more adjustment that we need to make, and that's the brightness of the dimmer when the dimmer is switched on. So let's go back over here to the dimmer settings again, the tools, and we'll come down to dimmer settings. And let's go back to the manual setting for right now, and we are going to switch the dimmer on. So right now it's on the daytime setting. Let's switch it to night. That's when you want to have the dimmer on, and you can see the brightness drops really significantly. Well, let's go back up here, and I want to go to my picture adjustment. Now please note that if the parking brake is not engaged, picture adjustment is grayed out, right? Can't get to it. In order to get to that, you need to engage the parking brake. When I do that, there's my picture adjustment setting. And you can see that I have camera view up here. If I touch that, there's my camera view, and this is my source, and this is back to my camera view. I have my dimmer setting down here. I'm going to touch the dimmer, and you can see that this is all the way down to +5, which is really dim, and maybe that's too dim for me to see at night. So I can make this a little brighter over here. Maybe I'll make this about a +15 or maybe +20. There we go. +20 on the dimmer setting makes it a little brighter, but still dim enough in the evening that it doesn't blind me while I'm driving. I'm going to hit the X to get out of here. and we'll go back into the toolbox here and go to the dimmer. And remember, the dimmer is still on right now, so this is its nighttime setting. If I switch it off, you can see it come up to its full brightness. That's the daytime setting. When I switch the dimmer on, it drops down to, not all the way down to that very dim setting, because we set it to about plus 20, and that works out pretty good for me. When you're done making your adjustments there, you can hit the X to escape.